Welcome back, friends. So we are seeing bubbles being formed across the world as the stock market indices are already there at all-time highs for most indices across the world, whether we have the Dow, S&P, NASDAQ in the United States, whether we have the European indices in Asia, you have the Indian indices, the Nikkei in Far East as well. So you see all the global indices are reaching all-time highs, and there is some theme or the other which has dominated in different parts of the world, account of which the stock markets in respective countries have been doing exceedingly well. In the United States, you have the artificial intelligence generated boom. I don't know whether you can call it artificially generated boom, but it is an AI related boom for sure. Now let us look at various economies, and I'll try and keep this as short as possible. Europe's stock markets are dominated by this group of internationally exposed quality growth compounders with the continent's largest market capitalization. Goldman Sachs some time back had called this group had termed it as granolas. The members of this group, including GlaxoSmithKline, Roche, ASML, Nestle, Novartis, Novo Nordisk, L'Oreal, LVMH, AstraZeneca, SAP, and Sanofi. Now, they have drawn a tremendous amount of attention, and in fact, the majority of the index, these granolas account for 1/4 of the total stock 600 market capitalization. Now, that's quite a bit, and there is great amount of comparison that you can make with the Magnificent Seven in the United States, also with the PSU stocks in India, which are rising on the back of just orders. There is not even much of execution, but the reason why many of the PSU stocks are rising in India is you just look at the number of orders that are there, and that's it. You just multiply that and give it a multiple, and eureka. So there are bubbles being formed across the world, and let's go over them quickly. Okay, let's take an NVIDIA. There's no doubt that the growth is very, very solid, and it has soared more than fivefold since the start of last year, vaulting the semiconductor company past Amazon and Apple to a $2 trillion market capitalization. Okay. Its frenzy resembles in many ways more like the halcyon days of the internet revolution or the peak euphoria that preceded the dot-com crash. Insatiable demand for its graphic chips from AIs have fueled a 265% year-on-year rise in revenue to over $22 billion last quarter, and an almost 1,000% rise in its operating income to about operating revenues to about $14 billion. Now, all this is very well justified, and people say that yes, you can compare it to Sun Microsystems and Cisco in the internet and the dot-com era respectively, but this time is different. This time this growth is for sure. It's artificial intelligence is the theme, and it's going to take the whole world with it. You never know, it can also take the world down with it. Growth is going to slow at some point of time. There are going to be new competitors that are going to emerge. And in fact, there are some, if you read between the lines and if you dissect the 10K filings of NVIDIA, you will already see that there is some amount of overvaluation, and there is some growth concerns beginning to appear. In fact, in the guidance, if you look at NVIDIA, what they are guiding for the next quarter is a little less than the prior quarter. People have ignored all this on the basis of the frenzy that has accompanied. Look at the Europe stock markets and these grandolas acquiring a majority stake in the market capitalization. From a global point of view, the granolas have even outperformed the so-called Magnificent Seven over the last 2 years. Their outperformance is even more impressive on a risk-adjusted basis, with a volatility 2 times lower than that for the Magnificent Seven in the United States. In stock market indices, granolas have helped to boost the Sharpe ratio. And you can expect that you can say, okay, if there is bubble in the United States, at least Europe's granolas represent a greener pasture. Not quite. Look at the concentration risk that is there. Okay. The tremendous amount of risk, granolas accounting for 1/4 of the total stocks, 600 market capitalization, is something to be happy about as well as concerned about, because of the concentration risk. Whenever you have so much of a focus on a few companies in composing such a majority of the rise in an index, that leads to concerns and reverberations of what had happened in the dot-com bust, and the similarities begin to rise. There is still some strength in the rally, no denying it. Tech and AI, some more, before the curtains come down. Look at Asia. Look at Asia. Look at India. Fantastic, fastest growing economy in the world. Nobody can compare it at this point of time. Look at the consumer spending. Look at the middle class. Look at the dynamics of a resurgent government and politically agile government. There's no denying it. Lot of money, railroads, highways, being infrastructure related boom across the country. Yet you find that there are valuations of public sector undertakings which are getting orders left, right, and center. The market capitalization of these companies are a multiple of the orders which are to be executed 5 to 6 to 7 years down the road. They're already beginning to take the present value of those, just the orders. There is no execution. Execution risk has not even been taken into account while giving valuation to these companies. So friends, there are valuations which are, there are bubbles which are beginning to be generated across the world. The breathless hype around the technology stocks like Nvidia is, I believe, nearing the dangerous levels, whereas there is a little more steam left in the rally. And yes, we have the expertise to tell you when exactly this bust is coming, and we will be coming shortly with our analysis. Of course, we would be happy to have you as a part of our Prime or Prime Plus groups to analyze and tell you when we believe this change and the bust in the bubbles being formed across the world will take place. Why don't you also be a part of our mission? And we would love to tell you our part. You can WhatsApp us on 98208610044. You can alternatively also email us at globalmoneyinvestor@gmail.com, globalmoneyinvestor@gmail.com. The world of the Web3, of blockchain technology, of convergence of various technologies such as blockchain and AI are here to stay. Even in the case of the dot-com boom, we have had companies like Cisco laying down fiber optics. The infrastructure was so solid, but yet down the road, and the demand was also very, very high at that point of time. But there was the data did not back up the infrastructure, the hardware at that point of time. Even here, you find that Nvidia is based on what the data can absorb. How much is the artificial intelligence that is available? There are questions as to how much they can absorb, and they can generate generative AI, and how much they can make a new version of it, which will be completely new value to a consumer. That's not going to be easy. I think similar overinvestment in these AI chips can slow down the growth in companies like Nvidia and can bring down the markets with it. Similar thing can happen in the case of the in the case of Europe, in the case of the granolas. That was the terminology with Goldman Sachs gave it in 2020. And also in the case of India and in other Asian countries, you have the infrastructure, huge development. The public sector undertaking stocks can come down as people begin to realize that the rich valuations that are being attached are commensurate only with the future revenue and not with the current existing performance, execution capabilities, and that all is going to come and rattle world financial markets, and is going to happen sooner than you anticipate. So please do be a part and we would love to share all this information about when we believe this whole world is going to change. It's going to happen sooner than what you anticipate. Do WhatsApp us on 982-086-1044 or email us at globalmoneyinvestor@gmail.com. Happy investing and have a great week and weeks ahead. But yes, don't forget, the bubbles are beginning to form and they're going to rattle world financial markets earlier than you think. Happy investing. Take care. Bye-bye.